Hohem just came out with a small compact mobile phone gimbal, but unlike what's already currently out there, like the Osmo Mobile 7 and the Insta360 Flow 2 Pro, this iSteady V3 Ultra has one major advantage: a detachable touchscreen remote that gives you real-time preview for remote framing and remote monitoring. It's like the iSteady M7, but far more compact. So if you compare this Hohem iSteady V3 Ultra to the DJI Osmo Mobile 7P, you'll see that it has a few features that make you want to consider it over the Osmo Mobile 7P. And given that this video is sponsored by Hohem, you might be thinking that this is completely biased, but honestly, just with the detachable remote touchscreen alone, with the remote real-time preview, it's just one of those obvious advantages of the iSteady V3 Ultra over the Osmo Mobile 7P. So the next feature that gives this gimbal a clear advantage over the DJI Osmo Mobile 7P is the fact that not only does it have AI tracking like the Osmo Mobile 7P, but imagine you want to move completely freely around in the frame without having to worry about where the camera is, whether it's following you. With the iSteady V3 Ultra, you have a completely unobstructed rotation because it will rotate a full 360 degrees, whereas the Osmo Mobile 7P basically caps out and can only go so far. So you have to really be aware of the rotation limit before you start recording and moving around in the frame, which isn't ideal if you're trying to have one less thing to worry about, especially if you film completely solo, like I do. What's more, the iSteady V3 Ultra can not only track human and animal subjects, it can also track objects, unlike the Osmo Mobile 7P. So imagine you're doing a demonstration and you want the tracking to not be on you, but on the actual thing that you're doing. You can do that with the iSteady V3 Ultra, which is awesome when you're doing a demo and you want the focus to be on the thing that you're doing rather than on just your pretty face. You can also use the tracking with the native camera app or any camera app with your phone, which to be fair is exactly the same as the Osmo Mobile 7P as well, because it is that tracking module, the intelligent AI tracking module that is picking up all that movement. So with the tracking modules for both of the cameras, they both have a multifunctional purpose. The Osmo Action 7P actually has one extra one, but first, they both double up as fill lights. But where the Osmo Mobile 7P has two temperatures, which is cool and warm, the iSteady V3 Ultra has three. So it has cool, warm, and neutral. But the advantage of the Osmo Mobile 7P with this additional function is that you can actually use the tracking module. I think it's actually called a multifunctional module or something like that. But you can actually use that as a receiver for the Mic Mini and the Mic 2. So you can plug it into your phone and then use those mics to get even better quality audio, because the transmitters are actually being connected to the transmitter in the multifunctional module, if that's even what it's called. I think it is called that. Now with the V3 Ultra, you don't have such a feature, but you can actually use Hohem's Mic 1, and it has a very small receiver that you can plug into the bottom of your phone and then use the transmitter to get clear audio with your footage. Both gimbals are incredibly compact. They both fold up, have built-in tripods and extension poles, but the iSteady V3 Ultra has the phone clamp mounted to the gimbal by default, so it doesn't come off, you can't take it off at all, which I actually prefer to the Osmo Mobile 7P because it has a clamp that you have to put onto your phone. You have to get it in the right place so that the phone is balanced on the gimbal properly, and then you can snap it onto the gimbal. Of course, this isn't a huge deal and it's not a massive point, but if you value convenience, much like I do, then it's just one of those, it's one less thing to have to do, and it's just where the V3 Ultra has the edge in that respect. But no matter which gimbal you go for, they both have 3-axis stabilization, so your footage is going to be smooth no matter what. And with both gimbals, you also have gesture control. In terms of payload, you're going to get slightly more from the V3 Ultra because its max payload is 400 grams, and the Osmo Mobile 7P is 300 grams. Did I say that right? The Ultra is 400 grams, the Osmo Mobile 7P is 300 grams. So yeah, you just get a little bit more with the V3 Ultra. But in terms of runtime, the Osmo Mobile 7P gives you an extra hour, so you get up to 10 hours of runtime, whereas with the V3 Ultra, you get up to 9 hours of runtime. However, with the Osmo Mobile 7P, you can actually charge the phone whilst you're using the gimbal. But unfortunately with the V3 Ultra, you don't have that option to charge your phone with the gimbal whilst it's in use. And you also can't use it to charge your phone even when you're not using the gimbal either. But the other thing to bear in mind with the Osmo Mobile 7P is that if you're using the tracking module as the receiver for the microphone, then you can't actually charge the phone with the gimbal because you have to plug the phone into the tracking module to use it as the receiver. So as a solo shooter, I definitely say that the Hohem iSteady V3 Ultra has the edge and just has that advantage for making your life a little bit easier and just the convenience. And it's because of that 360-degree pan rotation, but more specifically, the detachable touchscreen remote with live preview. It's just such a well thought out feature to have, and it's incredibly useful. So I've dropped links in the description to both of the gimbals, and if you are looking at getting either of the gimbals, then if you use those links, then it helps out the channel and you're supporting me. So I thank you in advance. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I will catch you on the next video.